Whitetail hunting in Nebraska along the storied Platte River should be exciting.
Yeah, I gotta get downwind.
You have everything you need for a good whitetail population, and I always see a lot of deer when I drive the interstate.
It's a buck. 2 bucks. Those are the ones, those are the ones.
Ron Spomer stalking success in the Cornhusker State on Winchester's Whitetail Revolution. Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American Legend, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work, Redfield, the soul of the American hunter, and by Browning, the best there is.
Oh, here's a nice track. Yeah, that is a nice buck going through here.
Whitetail hunting in Nebraska along the storied Platte River should be exciting. It's got a lot of history here. It's a major migration corridor for both people and wildlife.
That's worth going after.
We are blessed to be on the Platte Valley. It's full of game, and we offer hunts for all of it at Central Nebraska Outfitters.
Well, look at there. Now there's more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 of them out there now, Jim. I'll still hunt my way along the edge of that timber probably then and keep my eye on that cluster. They could still pull a big buck out in the open too.
Right. Now, as soon as you get them off this meadow, there's a little ditch that goes down, and then it kind of comes back up and levels, and you could stay in that ditch as you go along, come up every so often. Yeah.
All right. Sounds great. See you back here about midday?
Yeah, probably around noon.
Noon? That's a good time.
Area.
Bring food. Bring food and the cavalry.
Whitetail expert Ron Spomer's on the hunt in the Platte River Valley with Jim Martinowski's Central Nebraska Outfitters. With 17 miles of river bottom and over 50,000 acres to explore, Ron's hot on the trail of a great adventure.
I've been coming to Nebraska to photograph cranes and hunt pheasants and mule deer hunts, coyotes, having a lot of fun down here. And the Platte River, of course, is a ribbon of riparian habitat that attracts whitetails. Lots of corn along the sides. You have everything you need for a good whitetail population.
I've been guiding and outfitting in this area for 9 years now. A client, partner of mine, started Central Nebraska Outfitters about 4 years ago. We've got 17 miles of river. We hunt whitetails and mule deer through all 3 seasons, which would be archery, muzzleloader, and firearm. We have turkey hunts, waterfowl hunts, including snow geese, ducks, and dark geese. We do some prairie dog hunts and some coyote hunts.
So now with Jim Martinowski running an operation here I guess he hunts just about everything. He's famous for waterfowl, but he's been hunting deer for quite a few years. I've heard some good things about him and his operation, so I'm really excited. This will be my first chance to hunt whitetail in Nebraska. I can't think of a more historically fascinating location than the famous Platte River Valley.
What you shooting, Ron?
Oh, I brought 30-06, so I've got 150 grain, and it sounds pretty cool. You know, bonded bullets, of course, you've got your metal jacket. Should be a dynamite little whitetail bullet. I've noticed they've got a hollow point in there, so you don't have that lead getting all deformed like you do usually. Sure. I'm just anxious to see how it works. I bet you it's going to be just dynamite. I've also got a new Redfield scope I just put on, so I haven't even sighted this thing in yet. I just bore sighted it, so we're going to start from scratch here, Jim. That looks pretty good, Jim. That looks good,
Ron.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to hunt.
2 bucks. Not huge, but Anybody else around there? Yeah, I gotta get downwind.
First day, Jim had other hunters in camp. He was pretty busy, and I told him, don't worry about me. I'm familiar with the area and hunting whitetails in this kind of habitat, so turn me loose, and he was good enough to do that.
Boy, all those trees, those bucks will be working, following scent and trails and does, and should be a lot of activity. I think I'm gonna put the spotter away and just still hunt the edge of this stuff, because the wind is just right out of the west, northwest. The sun will be at my back, man, that's perfect.
Once I got into that timber, it was a nice open stand of cottonwoods with a lot of grass, not too much brush, so I could see pretty far. Did not take long, and I had a little buck coming at me. He was rutting, nose to the ground, hit a scrape under a juniper tree.
Here he comes, right on in. No. He doesn't know what's going on. I'm not a doe. Not a doe. Boy, but 20 yards away, you're in big trouble there, buddy. He's got a broken G1, broken G2 on the left. He's really a nice wide one for a young deer. Look at how wet his neck is. He has just been rutting like crazy. Wish you had a buddy with you. Boy, that was classic. He came down his trail with his nose to the ground, hit a quick scrape. Came in on that doe collar buck. I don't know, he was kind of looking at both of them, but yeah, go. There he goes. Jumped the fence. Wow, that was perfect. Now we just need a bigger one doing the same thing.
When Ron showed up, these deer were in the second week of good rutting, what I'd seen as far as chasing hard and a lot of tending going on.
Oh, there's a buck, Doesn't look real big. Well, she's going right down to drink. Maybe there's a bigger buck in there, though. I should probably set up and get ready. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Well, we know we can find him in the middle of the afternoon anyway. Out to his ear tips, but not much for height, not much for length. Yeah, that's just a year-and-a-half, 2-year-old buck, not what we're looking for. Pretty looking scene, though. Anytime you can get a beautiful creek running by and autumn light on those deer. Nice. All we gotta do is find his grandpa. It's looking good. Plenty of deer in here.
Normally, you're gonna get your does coming out early. Not this time. First deer out of the woods is a 4x4. This is the nicest deer I've seen so far.
Ron Spomer's on a quest to bag his biggest buck ever among the sandhills, canyons, and river bottoms of Nebraska's Platte River Valley. And he's determined to do it on foot and on his own terms. Meanwhile, on Mike Hanbeck's Buck of a Lifetime, we'll meet a gal who put her own Nebraska monster on the ground.
Samantha Bender hunted Nebraska's rifle opener last fall with her father-in-law, Jack. Early in the hunt, a little buck walked by. "Want to shoot him?" Jack said. "Nah," said Sam. "I'm going to hold out for a bigger one." The buck ran into a draw and kicked out a doe. Then outblasted a huge buck chasing that doe. Jack bleated and both deer stopped. But Sam was shaking too hard to shoot, man. The buck took off. Jack bleated again and both deer stopped one last time. Now Sam was ready. She fired and the 173-inch monster dropped in his tracks. Get this, it was a 175-yard shot, offhand. Some people say the ladies are better deer shots than us guys, and you know, I think that might be right. Sam and Jack hugged, laughed, and cried. They called her husband Adam. He and his mom Tracy rushed over, and everybody joined the celebration. You know, hard to beat hunting with family, the ones you love. Makes the buck of a lifetime even sweeter.
On our second morning, Jim was able to shake loose and spend the morning with me. We started off on the river on the north side in a 2 or 3 mile stretch of contiguous cover, quite thick, and it was surprisingly different from the river cover from the day before. Instead of a mature stand of cottonwoods with open grass underneath, we had lots of cedars, junipers, and a whole bunch of green ash, and they made for a much denser habitat.
He doesn't want to fight anybody. There's his final salute. He went over the hill.
On our third day, so we did go down to the river, and I did some still hunting through the trees and really found some good sign. This was an exciting area.
Doe's in the water. No, man. Where's your boyfriend? Oh, that's pretty. Where's the buck? Here comes a buck. I gotta get past that tree. Get that brush out of the way. Oh, he's not very big. Nope. Nope. Oh, well. Maybe. And water doesn't mean any more to them than ground. It's too small, but let's play with him anyway. Oh, he's got another one coming up behind him out in the pasture. Boy, watch this guy. Here he comes. I don't look at all like a deer, do I, buddy? Here comes his little friend. Lots of bucks. I've seen more bucks here today than I've seen all 3 days prior. I gotta get in those trees.
In the afternoon, I decided my best bet was to sit out in the pasture because of the wind. It switched to the northwest, and the river was on the north side of this pasture. So if I stayed against that river cover and the deer went out in the pasture, they were going to scent me. I needed to be out away from that river.
Here's the camel.
Okay, that ought to work. You got some stakes in there?
Yeah, there's 2 of them in there.
I don't know I'll even need it, but better safe than sorry at this stage of the game, huh?
Yeah.
The last hurrah.
Normally, you're going to get your does coming out early. The fawns are always hungry, and they're going to come out, and the bucks are going to come maybe at sunset, a little more hesitant. Not this time. First deer out of the woods is the 4x4, and a pretty decent one. This is the nicest deer I've seen so far. So I figure my best chance is to just crawl right over there and shoot him. And I'm going right into the sun. But if there's another doe out in the pasture standing up here downwind of me, so I can't go very close there, she's going to spook a whole bunch of them. I pretty much have to go straight at them.
Where's that guy? I lost him again. Man, no feeding. Where is he? That sun is a killer. Ah. Man. What's that one? Doe. Doe. I am close enough for a shot. I just need my buck. Sun's going down. Where is he? Where is he? Come on. Is that him? Oh my goodness, he's going west. Way out there. Oh, man, I'll never catch up with him now. Oh, nuts. That was a long, painful crawl. Exciting, though.
I waited until half hour after sunset, shooting time is over, end of the ball game. He was gone.
buck. 2 bucks. Those are the ones. Those are the ones. Those are about a 130, 140 buck.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work, Redfield, the soul of the American hunter, and by Browning, the best there is.
You know, the Platte corridor, migration corridor that it is, you have I-80 going by and truck traffic like crazy. You've got the railroad tracks going down the other side, traffic like crazy there, lots of agriculture. It's a busy corridor, and it's the noisiest place I've ever hunted deer. But by golly, it's still an exciting deer hunt.
Here at Central Nebraska Outfitters, we have 17 miles of river property between North Platte, Nebraska and Ogallala, Nebraska. The Platte River is very rich with game, and we offer hunts for all of it.
I decided best option, get my buns down to the river, get along the edge of the timber and still hunt out, and if I need to, I can slip out into that pasture. So I start down a fence line for the river, not really convinced I know where these deer have gone.
I don't think they got into the corn yet. They must be, either got in the corn or they're down by the river yet, in these trees. What's that? That's a deer. Right in the trees there. It's a buck. Those are the ones. Those are the ones. Those are about a 130, 140 buck. Yeah. What are they doing? Oh yeah, that's it. Shoot, man, that's not far away either. Calm, everybody calm. This fence wire is too jiggly. I'm gonna move up to that post. Oh yeah. Okay, separate, boys. That's it, separate. Right. He's hit. Oh, come on, buddy. Go down. Go down or stop and give me another shot. Come on. Oh, there you go. Right behind the tree. All I can see are antlers. Shoot, come on, buddy. All over. He gets breath. Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I walked up and here lays this 4x4 whitetail. This is the deer I was stalking the night before. I mean, how neat is that to be able to hunt a deer 2 days in a row, fail on a stalk one night, get him the next morning? That is just so satisfying. I'll tell you what, the trophy here was the hunt. Just persistence and staying after these guys till we found him and making a stalk and working the area. I tell you what, this was a chess match. You, buddy, for your young age, were pretty sly about staying out in that open pasture there. Good sized body on it. Buddy, you're gonna come home to dinner with me, huh? Meet the family, what do you say? You'll love it. This wasn't the Boone and Crockett buck of a lifetime, you know, they seldom are. It sounds sort of trite, but a trophy really is in the hunt. It's the hunt that makes the trophy. And I'm gonna remember this deer for a long time because it's not very often you get a stalk of whitetail across pronghorn habitat, get a chance, not quite make it, and then come back the next day and find the very same deer and be successful. Now that's a trophy. Lots of agriculture. It's a busy corridor, and it's the noisiest place I've ever hunted deer. But by golly, it's still an exciting deer hunt. You've got all kinds of wildlife along this river. They just ignore the traffic. It's an everyday thing for them. In addition to whitetails, you have lots of turkeys, and we ran into a bunch of those. Flushed some pheasants, saw lots of quail, and of course, with this water, when those waterfalls come down from the north, it's a famous duck and goose hunting area. And Jim's set up for all of it. I'm gonna try to come back, chase some quail and ducks with him. A lot of fun down here, and the Platte River, of course, is a ribbon of riparian habitat that attracts whitetails. Lots of corn along the sides, you have everything you need for a good whitetail population. I can't think of a more historically fascinating location than the famous Platte River Valley.
All whitetail, all the time.
Take him out. Take him.
On Versus.com and Versus On Demand.